I am the Vice Chair of the House and Municipal Government Committee. It's really, really a pleasure for me to be here today in Kennedy Plaza in the hub of our state's public transit infrastructure. It is the perfect place. In fact, I would argue it is the only place to celebrate this really exciting free fare program on RIPTA's R line, which happens to run right through downtown Pawtucket and along the side as well. RIPTA is a lifeline to thousands of Rhode Islanders. It is an incredible resource. So many people rely on the bus to get to work, to get to the doctor, to the store, to the market, any place they need to go. And the R line running from my city of Pawtucket through Providence and down to Cranston by way of here, right downtown, accounts for just more than half of the ridership in all of RIPTA. So piloting the no-fare transit here on the R line is a really, really good way to give a boost to the biggest number of transit riders here in Rhode Island. So what we're unveiling today is a year-long free fare pilot, which will start on September 1st of this year. It's going to make an incredible difference to so many people's day-to-day lives, especially the working people and the working families who need it most, and for whom transit tends to account for between 15 and 20% of their monthly budget. But transit is about more than just getting a ride or saving money. Transit cuts across so many other issues. Public transportation is a really important mechanism to reduce carbon emissions. It's a critical piece of our commitment to act on climate. It makes neighborhoods cleaner, it makes neighborhoods healthier, it improves people's quality of life. It helps create economic opportunity by making it easier for people to travel and to connect with each other. These are important social goods. That is particularly valuable given, as we all know, the extremely high cost of gas right now and the financial barriers that many Rhode Islanders are experiencing when it comes to owning and maintaining cars, because it ain't cheap. And all of this is especially important for historically underrepresented communities where existing transit infrastructure, or the lack thereof, has often exacerbated social inequality. And so, to put it very plainly, public transportation holds communities together and it helps them thrive, and I'm so proud that Rhode Island is investing further in this. So earlier this year, a lot of us were really excited to see the launch of the Ride Free in Central Falls pilot program, which is demonstrating just how transformative free and easy transit access can be for a community. The R-Line pilot program will do the same, but with an even wider reach. We know from the experience both in Central Falls and in other communities that free fare arrangements boost ridership. Boston has seen an increase of nearly 30% in ridership across its free fare lines, and this is incredibly promising for Rhode Island. So I hope that over the course of our year-long pilot program, momentum will build for permanent action to make RIPTA's vital service easily and freely accessible to all. I really hope that more people will join us in support of this idea, that residents should be able to move freely around the state, regardless of where they live and regardless of income bracket. There are a lot of people here to thank. Many of you are here today, some of you are not. I especially would like to thank Senate leadership in my chamber and my colleagues in my chamber for their support of this project and their commitment to transit issues generally. To each of the co-sponsors of the legislation that we approved in the Senate this week, that's President Ruggerio with Goodwin, Environment and Agriculture Chairwoman Dawn Oyer, Senator Alana DiMario, Senator Miller, Senator Valverde, Senator Cano from Pawtucket also, Senator Murray and Senator Burke. Thank you guys so much. I also want to thank Governor McKee and House leadership, everyone else in government who's worked so hard to include funding for this pilot in the budget. Without you, it would not be possible. And next, I want to introduce my friend, Representative Leonela Felix, Rep. Leo, also from Pawtucket, so we are well represented here today, who's been an incredible partner on transit issues in the General Assembly.
So short. Hello, everyone. Leonela Felix, Leo, from Pawtucket, District 61. I just want to really express my gratitude to Megan, who has worked so tirelessly to ensure that the R-Line pilot becomes a reality. The governor for making sure that, like she said, we have appropriated the funds to make sure that this happens. And every single person that has worked on this issue, we know, again, that this is not just a transit issue. This touches the cornerstone of every single person's their aspect of life. and it's necessary to have reliable transportation to and from wherever you need to go. Let that be your job. Let that be the supermarket, your kid's school. So this was really, really personal to me, really necessary for my community, and I'm really grateful for the House leadership, Speaker Chikarchi, for Senate President Ruggerio, and everyone else who have really worked tirelessly in doing this. Lastly, I want to also thank RIPTA for coming to the table, for working with us to ensure that this happens and that our community is well served. So thank you all for being here, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Rep Felix. So it's also my pleasure to recognize another very important ally in this work. Our General Treasurer, Seth Magaziner, has been a really steadfast support of expanding public transit access, and he understands its many benefits. Unfortunately, he could not be here today because of another commitment, but he sends his well wishes, and I'm very pleased to recognize his Deputy Chief of Staff, Leanne Byrne, for being here in his place. And next, I'd like to welcome up one of our state's most vocal advocates for working people and social justice issues. Pat Crowley is a recognized labor leader, but he is also a powerful voice for change at the State House, ranging on issues from climate to voting rights. So Pat, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Senator Kallman, and thank you, Representative Felix. You know, their advocacy on this issue has been paramount to getting this bill across the finish line and into the budget. Before I begin, I just want to really thank the men and women of RIPTA, especially the brothers and sisters of ATU Local 618, who throughout the entire pandemic went above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that the working people of Rhode Island could still use RIPTA to get to where they needed to go. It was under incredibly challenging circumstances, and they rose to the occasion. So thank you to the members of Local 618 of ATU. This is an incredibly important opportunity, not just for the working people across Rhode Island that I represent, but the entire state of Rhode Island. You know, we have a statewide transportation system where right now, as of this budget being passed, 50% of the people that use that system are going to be able to use it for free. And like Senator Kallman and Representative Felix said, that's not just a big deal for the people that are using the RIPTA services. It's a big deal to make sure that we take a large step forward in cleaning up our environment. Because every car we take off the road is that much less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Every single bus that we use and every single electric bus that we use is one more spur to make sure that we have a green economy that serves the entire state of Rhode Island. Believe it or not, it was only in March, it was March 2nd of 2022, that we were here announcing this goal. And it's only taken this long to get to the pilot project. So now we have more work to do. The next step is once we demonstrate that this works, and we will demonstrate that it works, we're going to make the entire RIPTA system free. We're going to make it accessible to everyone. We're going to make sure that every working class person in the state of Rhode Island knows that RIPTA is a positive alternative to car transportation. And then we're going to work with the employers across the state to make sure they do the work that they need to do, working with the unions, working with the legislature to make sure that the environment is paramount to what we do when we think about our transportation solutions. So this is a big deal. Thank you again to the Senate, to the leadership in the Senate, the leadership in the House, to Governor McKee, and to everyone who's here today to make this happen. Thank you. I'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Pat. So I saved the best for last here, right? We can't do this without RIPTA itself. I would like to welcome Christie Raposo Perry, RIPTA's Public Information Officer, who is here on behalf of Director Avedian.
Thank you, Senator. Good afternoon. First of all, let me share the regrets of our CEO, Scott Avedian, who unfortunately is unable to join us today. He would like you to know that RIPTA is very excited to be a part of today's event, and we thank the Senate for this funding opportunity. There has been a lot of discussion nationwide about what free fare programs might mean for public transit agencies. So this pilot program, along with our Ride Free Central Falls pilot program, affords us the opportunity to see what changes happen to a system when fares are waived. Over the next year, we will be able to gather good data regarding what free fares will mean for our system and what changes may result. We look forward to sharing the data we collect with our elected officials and the public in order to ensure continued growth of RIPTA ridership and sustainable public transportation for our state. Thank you.
So thanks everybody for being here. We can take a couple questions if folks would like.
Can I ask how this works? Like, will I just be able to jump on the bus, or will I need a wave card?
That is the vision. You will just be able to get on.
Just on and off? No
Yep.
problem.
Yep. Anybody else?
On the R line.
On the R line. So anywhere up and down that line. Yes.